Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dude Park. Today we're going to be finishing and detailing up the track ride. So, if you want to see more, just click this button down below. We'll be continuing the park next week as well. For now, we're just going to work on the details. So I felt there was something missing actually to connect two buildings together. So I decided I was gonna construct a conveyor belt system over here. And decided to use the arch shapes for it. Because they have the most general shape and don't look like any other object. And maybe when I recolor them a little bit, it will look way better. Maybe I can actually convince the guests there's a conveyor belt up here. So here I'm just sliding the pieces together. And there's just one thing missing, because if this is the room where all the pastries are being made, well, how does it get up there, actually? I thought an elevator would actually work. So it means I have to change stuff up a little bit over here, because this will not really work for an elevator. So I decided to move the metal bars a little bit, so they will be the surrounding structure of the elevator, and move these back a little bit. So you'll see me struggling over here. It's just way easier if you want to do some precise positioning to use the advanced move mode. And you can use the advanced move mode by pressing X on your keyboard while you're moving the objects already. And here I just duplicated it and tried to slide it along a little bit again. Just as I said before, just use the advanced move tool for this sort of stuff. It's way easier. So this is approximately how the elevator is going to work, just up and down a little bit. Nothing too fancy. And I'm trying to find out which color will work the best. And as you guys can see, even the darkest color of the palette actually is not dark enough yet, but it'll have to do, I guess. I just cannot find a really dark conveyor belt looking color to work with, so and I might actually have selected arch shapes that are just too big to really make it work, so I'll swap them out for smaller ones. It just makes it really easier. Really a lot easier to move these around and put them in the correct spot. So if you guys want to see any more episodes of the Dude Park, just check out the list in the top right corner. So now I'm gonna push the conveyor belt through the building and make it enter the next building, actually, which will be the warehouse of the factory. So now both buildings actually have a purpose instead of them just being separate of each other. It just works better for this ride. And just as always, guys, If you want to know anything about how I'm building this, just leave a comment down below, or if you have any suggestions, feel free to put them down below in the comments. Or any feedback or whatever. I just like to hear from you guys. And by the way, if you think this building series is not quite your thing, it's I actually also have a playlist which just contains my coaster videos. Just if you want to see it, just click in the top right corner over there, and it will send you to my playlist. So once the pastries enter the building, they will go down here, and employees can stack them as they have done underneath the conveyor belt over there in the corner. And it just gives the ride more purpose. Otherwise these two rooms just, they don't work together, you know. And just to make it feel more real, I'm just gonna plop down some of these crates on top of it, so it actually looks like it's being used as a conveyor belt and just shut off or something. And maybe when we can actually use the billboards properly from the billboards that just came in with the last update, I can make a moving billboard on top of this, and it will just be a little bit more like it's actually moving objects instead of just the static crates over here. Okay, so time to make it feel even more connected. So we're gonna make a pastry shop. Sorry, a pastry factory. And we want to show the guests over here as well that this actually is a pastry factory. Pastry and candy. So I'm just plopping down some props over here to make it feel just that more real. In the meantime, you can see the ride slide through. And let's just vary it a little bit and try and find some other candies and stuff that actually fit in here. Unfortunately, we cannot scale any of the items, so once they are too big or too small to see or really fit in, there's nothing I can do, and I just decided to use something else instead. So actually I'm looking for some feedback from you guys. What would you like to see in the park next time? A new ride, a new building, whatever. Enter my poll in the top right corner of your screen and click that I and fill out the poll. And next time maybe your choices will be featured in the park. Or maybe a week after. So just to vary things up a little bit, I'm gonna add some presents. So it looks like they are also packaging the presents instead of just packaging them in crates. Just to spice things up a little bit. And I'm just trying to make the outside feel a little bit more like a ride instead of just a massive emptiness. So I'm trying to fit in some arches just before this. If you actually want to do that for your own rides and you cannot make it, put it in the place you want it to be, you can actually turn off the ride collision in your options. But I decided to just keep it on because it's just easier to work, and you don't really quickly make the mistake of getting it in between your track. If you really want to go in and do some fine detailing, maybe it's a lot easier to do when you actually turn off the track collision. But for now I just left it on. And I'm just detailing everything in now. So I just want this place to feel more alive. And the best way to actually do that is to add some nature props. So trees, bushes, or whatever. And I'm not going for a foresty feel here. I really want it to feel like everything is built around this little ride, instead of the ride being built into a forest or foresty area or something. And just to make sure that the guests will not feel too much like there's a lot of emptiness back there, I'm just gonna add a little bit of a hills zone over here. It just helps to connect the park together and not the entire plane you see, the entire grass plane, you know. And actually, the great thing to do is to add some variation to your terrain is actually to use the roughen tool, as you have seen me doing here. And now I'm just gonna plop down some trees. And as you can see, I just plop down some trees behind the hills as well, so the guests will have more of a feeling of depth actually. So they will not feel like everything ends after the hill. It's just to give the guest a feeling that there's more to be discovered behind here. There might be nothing else yet, or there will maybe never be anything else, but it's just part of the experience. And just because it's a little bit too green, I'm gonna add some color bushes between the bushes because I don't want too much color. So it's just a little bit more vibrant over here. So let's see what else we can plop down here. Maybe a little bit of a fence over here. But I don't think it will actually really work, but maybe it will. These fences are just a little bit tiny. Nah, that doesn't really work. Let's just leave it as is. And maybe add something to spice up the exterior over here. So just again to make everything feel connected and more part of what it's actually supposed to be. This being a factory. I'm just gonna introduce some more industrial scenery over here. Just to add some variation to everything around the ride. Because it still feels a little bit empty. So what do you guys think of the ride so far? Don't be afraid to leave some comments down below. I really want to know what you guys think of this park area. Are there things I can improve? Just let me know. Well, that doesn't look too bad, does it? Let's have a look over here. And we're gonna rename the ride. Because it feels just way too generic right now. And actually I decided to name it Sugar Factory because it sounds funny. And it's sort of what it is. You know, it produces pastries and sweets, so at the same time it feels like a real right name, and it's a bit softer, so it also sounds like a kid, right? You know. Alright, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope to see you next time on the Dude Pod. Subscribe if you want to see more, and like this video if you like it. See ya!